What is up, guys and girls? Archie Gaming here, and today I thought I'd come at you with a very similar video to what I done after Cork, which was my experience of the Kotei. Obviously this time was a Grand Kotei. As you can see by the pins, it is the third Kotei in the Toshu Rambo season I've been to. The other one was obviously Cork and Paris. The reason why I didn't do a video after Paris was only actually there for 3 rounds, then had a family issue, so I had to come back to England midway through that. Which was a shame. Plus, as well, exhaustion. I wasn't prepared or ready or in the right frame for that tournament. But yeah, so went to Birmingham. So sort of my first real Grand Kotei, and played obviously 7 rounds. First thing I picked up was obviously the Grand Kotei mat. And also, one thing I completely forgot to share on Facebook was my new playmat from Doji Playmats. Back to Kickstarter, picked it up while I was there. Obviously, I know David quite well, big in the Unicorn community. We actually played first round in Ireland. So it was actually my first competitive game of L5R. Was actually against him. We've met a few times, we've talked. Obviously, I've got one of his playmats a little bit early as a nice sort of preview and done a review. But yeah, this one, similar quality, absolutely fantastic, beautiful playmat to play on. Really enjoy playing on it across the weekend. A lot of compliments and a lot of people noticing his work, which was really cool to see. You know, it was only a Kickstarter that started a few months ago, but everyone's well aware of who he is and his mat designs, which is really good to see. I'm glad to see that sort of the community's got behind him in that way. It's fantastic to see. So after all that, I was noticed actually a few times as well. A few people came up to me and went, "Hey, you're Archer Gaming." Also pre-set up a few trades as well. Got some of my cards converted into Italian of the alt art. So the alt art, my Mystic, was in trench position, and there was another one, the Utaka Infantry. I traded with a guy, straight swap from an Italian, just to give it a bit of fun. I thought, you know, what's life without whimsy? So we picked up my stills, saw Bamboozled from the Imperial Advisor. Those guys were running it again, very similar to Cork. Can't fault how it ran. So smooth. A few little issues with the whole like names apparently, and there was a slight issue on repairing. I think before round 1 it was just to confirm everyone was there. But apart from that, no issues in how it was run at all. Apart from, it turns out people they might have forgot our vote slips for the rolls, but apart from that, fantastic weekend. So we went into round 1. Round 1 for me was actually on table 3, which was really cool to get that high up. I know it's round 1, it's just random, but it was really cool to be on table 3. And I played against a Phoenix player, local to me actually, one of the guys I know from Southampton, which is about a 20 miles away from me. Came up and hey, he came all this way to play each other, and we'd never played before. He was running Phoenix, very interesting decks. Very close game. Almost came to time. Time got called. We worked out points. It was tight. He was going to go for it, but he realised he had no conflict left, because I assassinated one guy who went in with his first conflict, so still 3 rings available. And he thought he hadn't declared it. I said, look, I'm not going to declare a second conflict. I'll get the favour and win on 1 point. And he went, oh yeah. So at that point conceded. So it was kind of a bit lucky for me that he did see that point. We sort of talked it through slightly. Conceded, so I managed to get my first win, which was obviously the best start. From that, I then played a Scorpion player. And this time I was actually on table 2. So slowly progressing up, I was gonna get a bit scared. Lovely Scorpion guy. Spoke to him a little bit. He hadn't played much, but plays Game of Thrones, stuff like that. He was just there for the sweet mat, as he said to me, and pick up a couple of prizes. He won his first game as well. Yeah, up on table 2 as well, so really close to that table 1 spot. We had a nice chat. Really well played, very close. Came to about 30 seconds of time. You know, I checked over, 30 seconds left. I was 2 points down. I was essentially province. Sorry, 3 points down. Province and an honour. I wasn't gonna break. We had like pilgrimage. I was on his stronghold. I had Cavs reserves, but he hadn't used a single 4G edict yet. We both bid at 5. He's like, look, whatever you do, I'm gonna have 4G edict. I was like, fair enough. If you've got that, I'm not gonna have a lot of answers. So at that point, I honourably conceded. Similar to the first game, so we mathed it out, had a little bit of a conversation, and yeah, I conceded. So I went 1-1. So third game just before lunch, I played my second Phoenix game of the day. This was a chappie I played against in Ireland before. I think I saw him in Paris as well. So starting to build a bit of a rapport with him. Lovely chap. And yeah, so we had our rematch from Cork. Again, very, very close. Getting very close to lunch at this point, so I was starting to get a bit hungry, grouchy. Managed to break his stronghold. Again, a very, very close game. My sentries came in at the right time. Really good fun. But across none of this, I was most honourable. It was all really close games, and it eased me into lunch, knowing I'm through to that second part, which was really nice to see. So lunch came. We updated my friend. The guy I went up with was currently, I think, 3-0 at this point. As a Scorpion player, so he was playing really well. And it was nice, both sort of on track and targets. My target mainly going into this was to go 4-3, just to match what I'd done in Ireland, to better what I'd done in Ireland, which was 3-4. So I was pleased, I was halfway essentially to my goal at that point. He was 3-0, so he was loving life. And yeah, then I went to round 4. Round 4 for me was against trying to remember now. I think it was another Scorpion. No, it's Crab. Sorry, it's Crab. So sat down for a round, and there's no Crab in my playtest. There's also no Phoenix. Well, there is one Phoenix player in sort of the group, but we don't play that often. But sort of done quite a bit of research. So this was my first game against Crab. Now, I messed up. I didn't see the Dishonour trap coming. I got very bogged down very quickly. Mine's a very event-heavy, cheap stuff, but quite event-heavy and relying on boosted military and breaking, which led to me, unfortunately, being dishonoured in that game. Very good game. It was Crab Dishonour. I had a chance, but I realised what it was too late. But still, put me at 2-2 going into the next part. Still happy to get through. So I definitely beat my Paris record. So I was happy. I was through to the next stage, and that led me on to another Scorpion player. Again, very, very close game. I was winning at the point of time being called by a point, literally on honour. He was on 3 to my 4. I had 3 dishonoured dudes though, so he tapped his stronghold, waited for the clear up phase, and I lost on dishonour. We did try and play through, however, because he hit that win condition, he still got the 10 points. I still got the actual loss because he still hit a win con. But again, close game. He understood why I went on, and I understood why he went on. Handshake at the end, and was good. So that led me on to game 6. Now, at this point, I had a message of a friend of mine who went to Ireland with us and play a lot of games with. And yeah, he's recently had a child, so he was unable to attend this time out. So he became like our little Alfred. Now my friend at this point was on 4-1. And I was on 2-3. So my friend was still in with a shot of making the cut. Realised he wasn't going to quite get Hatamoto. I think that was his first loss as well. Was against a Lion Hatamoto. And I was playing, obviously, towards sort of bottom end. But for Unicorn, that still can make Hatamoto, as I learned. In Ireland, it was a 3-4 that I needed to get. But I was still just pushing for the win. And he informed us that, where my friend was in the rankings and where I was as well. And it turns out there was only 2 unicorn who made the cut. I was ahead of him. My friend sort of updated me and was checking on Lotus Pavilion, which big props to running for that. That made life so much easier. And he was tracking. And I even got my partner tracking towards the end part of the day when I realised I was in for a shot of Hatamoto, which was really cool to see. So, paired for round 6, I go against another crab. Now, being a bit more aware, I played it very differently, and this time it was a crab Hatamoto. So, I did get the fancy pin, as I did beat him, putting me on 3-3. Very close game, but where I was aware now of that dishonour, I think he was at the point where he realised he wasn't going to quite make the cut anyway, so wasn't playing at full speed, and I won that game. So chuffed a bit, straight on my group chat of, I just beat a Hatamoto, like, come on. So great pride in that. Really close game. I think he underestimated Unicorn as well, which was very strange. He was like, oh, Unicorn, like, I've got this in the bag or anything. No. I think went to turn 2, and I broke his stronghold. I didn't quite get a god draw. He did have Hida Casada out turn 1 with Watch Commander and all sorts of shenanigans, and I was like, managed to pop a Void on him, hit Reprieve. I then charged out a Maya Mystic. So for my restricted card was Charge. I charged out a 2-cost card, which I then blew up, but got rid of that Reprieve, as he played it quite early. I don't know why he played it that early and not on the end phase, but he played it in my last conflict, which was a military conflict, round 1. I was going for Void. He played that for some reason. I don't know why. I then charged in the Maya Mystic on my military, blew it up at the end, which also got me the break on the province. And yeah, it was a very strange move of him. I think it was his big mistake, which meant his Hida went. And that left me on to my final game. Now at this point, for the crab game and my last game, I was actually sat next to the Unicorn Hatamoto, the other Unicorn challenger. Wasn't a Hatamoto, a lovely chap. And we both sort of realised we're at the same point. So, friendly handshake between the two of us, lovely guy. And we played through. I was sort of keeping an eye on his game. He was against Crab, and I was against a Crane. The Crane guy I was against had the bye the round before. His opponent didn't show up, so he was quite refreshed and ready for a good game. He was like, look, I know I'm not going to make challenger, I still want to do better. I was 3-3, so I was either matched Island at this point or was on for 1 better. I managed to win. Wasn't an overly hard game. I got quite lucky with my draws at points, and he didn't. I didn't see a guest of honour the entire game, which again, going back to my style of deck, which is very event heavy, can sometimes be the secret to beating me. Obviously it's Unicorn anyway, but yeah, mine is a lot of event tricks, so things like Captive Audience is a big one for me. Can really flip weird technical stuff I do and make people question what I'm planning. So that was a big win for me, and spoke to the other Unicorn player. He won his game. So it was 2 Unicorns on 4-3. Very, very much deja vu of Island. So it's coming down to strength of schedule. However, I did have the higher strength of schedule up to that round. Now at this point, I did not look at the final standings. After Island, when I looked at the final standings and thought I had it, then it changed. I decided I wasn't going to look. I told my friend not to text me. My partner, who I was on the phone to in between rounds, told her not to check. Well, I told her if she wants to check, she can check, but don't tell me. A few people came up and was like, oh, congratulations. 2 of the Unicorn chaps from Cork. One was judging Armada. The other was Dave from Doji Chris. Like, congrats. The other guy came up to me and said, congrats. But I sort of explained what happened in Ireland before. I said, look, I'm not going to cheer until they hand me that map. So it was sort of getting to about 9 o'clock at this point. I was starting to get a bit shattered. Made the announcements, and luckily there was a slight change as well at the end. after everyone congratulated me, they were like, there's one change of results. I was like, here we go, deja vu, but this time we did make it, which was an absolute awesome feeling. Again, been chasing it since Cork, since I got close. Cork, I wasn't expecting to get it, which was obviously is what it is. I was close towards the end of that, and that really pushed me forward. And Ireland, yeah, it was still a fantastic time. But going 4-3, keeping a positive win rate was something I really wanted to achieve, which I did. So I was happy. So I hit a Hatamoto, which was fantastic. Big cheer as well from the guys. So I went through as a Unicorn Challenger for Sunday. Now this sort of gave me Saturday to sort of have a little potter about. I was actually playing in a HeroClix event, for those who are following my Facebook, which I still qualified for their qualifier on the Sunday. So I was kind of in a torn situation, but it was no doubt going to be L5R. I went across to HeroClix on the Saturday. I actually managed to get the one limited figure I was after from the selection there, which was really cool. I managed to get that on the Saturday, so I wasn't overly worried. So my focus just went on L5R. So this led me to Sunday morning. So this is the first time I've actually made a cut where it's gone into another day. Made one cut for Imperial Assault and one cut for X-Wing. Never a cut in above 100 players, which was really cool to make. So yeah, I was happy. Overall came 55th, which again was 45 places better than Ireland, for probably similar sort of numbers. So big improvement. That extra win as well was really cool, and one less loss. And yeah, it was really cool and felt a huge achievement for me, even without the Hatamoto title, which obviously was the perfect bonus for the hard work anyway. So that led me on to Sunday morning. Now, rounds went up, deck checks, that sort of stuff happened. I came against Phoenix. So my third game against Phoenix. And yeah, it was going to be interesting. And, obviously I'd had the 2 games on the Friday against Phoenix and was just going to try and focus, repeat what I'd done. Wasn't going in too cocky, I was just happy to be where I was. Now, this game lasted about 45 minutes. We were the last of the make the cut into the top 32 tournament. So there's a lot of people watching us. The other Unicorn player, big shout out to him. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your name, dude. It begins with T. He was fantastic as well. He went 5-2 on the Saturday. So big props to him. Very, very different style of Unicorn deck to me. His was a Moto Juro with Pathfinder, with Watch Commander, I think was his main play, and Dishonoured everyone. So an interesting strat. The reason why I dropped Scorpion very, very early on in the game was because I did not like the Dishonor mechanic to play with. I don't mind playing against it, I find that a nice challenge, but I don't like playing with it. It's not my style. So we actually played against Phoenix, and Phoenix was an interesting game. I had to try and get that favour, just to keep those sensors in hand for him bouncing back those spells. Now, unfortunately, I managed to get round 1, managed to get round 3, I think it was. A bit of farming for the first few rounds. I think I managed to break something, and then he couldn't. So I managed to get a slight lead. Then managed to pull the favour round 3. Still no sentries in hand. He was then able to stand some Sigengers and chipped away at 2 provinces in a turn. I think I might have broke 1. So I went to 2-2. I lost the favour though, where he, I think it was Indomitable Will or something like that, which didn't allow a Scavenger to bow. Meant he had way more glory than me. Imperial Palace as well, I think, was out in his court. I was just like, yeah, I've got the favour. So there's not a lot I could do. So bidded 5, tried to check me out a little bit of honour, but I needed that card advantage to defend properly. 3 centuries. With no favour, was 3 of my cards, which weren't great. I think the other one was Assassinate, and I was on about 4 or 5 honour. So quite useless cards at this point, and he managed to break my stronghold. To which I conceded. It was a very very close game. Well played to that guy. Very very interesting. But yeah, I was then offered the chance to go into the proving grounds, which I elected not to do. I wasn't going to be able to go 6-0 and get the rings. Already had the dial just for being in I think it's called the samurai stage, so I didn't bother with that. And I went and minced around for a little bit, see what was going on with clicks. Had a little wander around the show, which was absolutely awesome. I think next year I'm going to take the Saturday just to go and look around Expo a little bit. And that led me on to Sunday afternoon, being a little bit spare. And again, Doji Matt's done the first UK Nationals 5-man pod multiplayer tournament, which was good fun. Played my first round, so it's 5 pods of 5 with the winners going into a final pod. Really cool. There was not a lot of the same clans across the tables. He tried to divide that up quite fairly, which was really cool. Got some nice little of his Kickstarter back cards, which were really nice, and played quite well on that. Placed well, although technically when time was called I hadn't won our pod. It was discussed because the guy I would have attacked and broke a province went to the loo, so I attacked someone else. However, if I would have attacked him, I would have won. He didn't really want to play for another 3 hours, so he backed off, and yeah, that was it really. Went into the final round, lost it due to miscommunication, but that was really about everything. Anyway guys, that was my experience of the Kotei, Grand Kotei. Definitely again next year, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Cheers guys.